Well, here's what happens when you've got high grass and you forget about a sinkhole as you're setting up your next paddock move while rotational grazing. Note to self, don't hit that again. It's hard to believe, but it's August 24th today. We are starting to wind down the summer. I will do one more batch of chickens on pasture this year. The chicks are in the mail. They will arrive tomorrow morning, probably, hopefully around 5:30 a.m. I think that the most important part of raising a chicken, especially when you're going to put it on pasture, is your brooder and how well you get these chicks off to a great start. How they come out of the brooder is going to be indicative of how well they're going to perform on pasture. Here's a brooder setup I've used this year. It is in the alleyway of my barn. It is 16 feet long by 4 feet wide. It's up off the ground about 2.5 feet. I have 4 lights that hang from the top. I have the front of the doors removed right now as I cleaned it out from the prior batch of birds. I will start out with the small waterers, the small feeders, and as they grow, I will increase the size. Usually after about 1 week, I have to go up to the big feeders and the big waterers. When your chicks are well dispersed throughout the brooder, you know you've got a good temperature. If they are all shrouded together, huddled up under one of the heat lamps, you've got it too cold. And if they're at the edges of your brooder trying to avoid the lamps, it's too hot. It's not really all that hard, but you have to keep an eye on it as your temperatures will fluctuate as you go through the night and then throughout the day. Having adequate floor space for your chicks will ensure that they get off to a great start and that they don't get too crowded. A good rule of thumb for square foot per chick is a half a square foot. This brooder right here is about 64 square feet. If you multiply that by 2, that would be around 120, 130 square feet, or 130 chicks that would fit in this brooder. I'm actually going to put 200. I've been doing 150. What I find with these meat chickens is that they don't stay in here very long. If you were raising a egg layer, you're probably in the brooder much longer. I will probably be in here this time of year for 2.5 weeks, would be my goal, and then take them out. So they never are going to get big enough that space is going to be an issue. At this point, I'm set up and ready to bring the chicks in. As it relates to my water, when I bring these chicks in, I do not give them food right away. I find that that is one of the biggest things that you can help to give them a good start is hold the feed off for 6 or 8 hours, but give them water. So they'll have water, and that water will be at room temp by the time they get here. The other thing is, I do not put any additives into this water. It's just pure water. No electrolytes, no apple cider vinegar, nothing, just water. I found that, I know there's a lot of recommendations out there on different things, probiotics, electrolytes. To me, just pure, clean water, withhold the food, maintain your temperature, and you'll have a pretty good outcome within your brooder. All right, just before 6 o'clock, that's all the chicks are in. That's great, so I'm heading to the post office. You'll also see it's 60 degrees out, so I went ahead and turned the lights on in the brooder, let it warm up a bit. We're back from the post office. Here are the traits. There's 4 of them. So I'm assuming there are 50 or so baby chicks in each one of the traits. And there's a box of baby chicks. Quick look through here, and it does not look, at least in this box, that there are any dead ones. Some will take every chick and dip their beak into the water bowl. I don't do every one. I'll do every so many. Once one finds it, the others will start mimicking it. So you don't really have to do every one. All the chicks are now in the brooder. There were 200 that I ordered. They always send a few extra, so there's 204 chicks. Not a single death loss. I did add shipping blankets. These are from Harbor Freight to the top. I closed the ends off as I'm trying to get the brooder temperature up. So right here, I wanted to just show, there's an example of something that you're trying to avoid. They just now did that. They'll warm up with the light lower. But you see how they're huddled up? That is a sign that they are too cold. It is now 6 o'clock. The temperature got up to 86, which is where I think it is about right now. It got warm in here. You'll see I got all the tarps off. I do have the lids up as I was putting the feed in. Here are the chicks. They're spaced out pretty good. You'll notice none of them are really under the lights. The brooder temperature, you can tell that is about 96, 97. I find that they like for the brooder temperature to be more around 90. They can then get under the lights if they need to get warm. When you start getting up to 96, 97, up to 100, it's a little bit warm for them. You'll notice I put my feeders in. I just now did that. They've already found it. They've drank almost a full gallon of water there and about a half a gallon here. At this point, I haven't lost a chick. They've all been very active today. I think they're off to a good start. Around 11 o'clock tonight, I'll come out and put the blankets back over the top. Probably put the window shades in, depending on what the temperature's doing and what they're doing. And then they'll be fine until the morning. And then we go through it again. I really think these first few days are the most vital, temperature being the most important thing. I try not to bother them a whole lot. I try to avoid stress. Again, nothing in the water, no electrolytes, no probiotics, no apple cider vinegar. We will check back in on them as we go through the weeks. But this is where we're at on day 1 with the latest batch of pasture-raised chickens. I hope everyone has a great week. If you have any questions at all, please leave me a comment. You can also find out more about the farm, www.chubbychasefarm.com. Thanks for watching.